Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Super Anime Bros podcast. As always, I'm your host, Rosario, joined by my brother, Angelo, and today we're going to talk about something we love.
Welcome back, everybody. So we're having a little change in schedule.
Yeah, for sure.
We talked it over, and we decided it would be best to not do the deep dives that we originally planned.
No. So, you gave me a phone call earlier today. Kind of brought up that, spoiler alert, both of the shows that we were going to deep dive were also on each other's top 10 list. And with the top 10 as we get there, we plan to do an episode for each show. It'll probably be around 15 shows, something like that, because some of them will cross over. Mm-hmm. So, we didn't want to do half an episode on each of these shows when, truthfully, they deserve a full episode on their own.
So we didn't want to rob them of their all due full episode time. Yeah. So with that, today is going to be our top 10 countdown. Right? Yeah, big reveal.
It's
so this
crazy.
is the moment I know you guys have all been waiting for.
Yeah, without a
so
doubt.
we're gonna
had to text a couple buddies today, let them know.
Yeah,
that
we're gonna
be
drop
a big one.
we're gonna each talk about our top 10s. We're gonna keep it fairly brief with each show because, as we mentioned, every single show is gonna get its own episode.
Yeah, for sure. Super exciting stuff. I said to you right before we started, I really do love a top 10 countdown. This is good stuff. We'll go through each one and then we'll leave it there, and maybe we start with some deep dives next week, or we do some updates. We'll see how the format ends up coming out. But as for this week, let's begin.
All right. So my number 10,
Yeah, rock and roll, brother.
is Horimiya.
Wow, it's funny how that
That's
works.
what made me think of it. I'm like, so it's like right here. Like we can't talk about it 2 weeks in a row.
Number 10.
My number 10. I know you really liked it enough to think about or say you wanted to do the deep dive, and I know you even did a little bit of research.
For sure, yeah. I actually, as you called me today to discuss the proposition here, I was watching Horimiya. I started it from the beginning. Great. It's just such a good show. It really is. Everything that we said last week or 2 weeks ago. Well, actually, I guess it was last week based on when I dropped the episode. About it on my list, it still rings true. It's a special show, and happy to see it on your top 10, and happy to give it its full episode as it deserves. What I mean?
And we'll be talking about it soon, so I guess we'll move right along to your number 10.
Yeah, for sure. So my number 10, my list has certainly been something that fluctuates, I'm sure yours as well.
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
This next show, after I watched it, I think went probably top 5. Since then, you just kind of sit and think with things a little more. The recency bias starts to wear off. Not to in any way, shape, or form discredit the show. But my number 10 favorite anime of all time is Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works.
No, I think that did drop a few plays.
Yeah. It debuted very high, and I absolutely adore it. I'm not going to pretend that I don't. It's number 10 on my list. Incredible. I loved it. I loved it so much. Shout out to my buddy Ant for watching it with me. I think it was a really, really fun ride. I know that I then had you watch it with me. It's such a roller coaster, dude. Iconic characters.
A little lower on my list, but I very much enjoyed this show.
Yeah, it's great. It really is great. So I will be happy to have a full episode dedicated to this down the line, dude. Number 10.
All right. So we'll keep it moving here.
Yes,
my
sir.
number 9 is Your Lie in April.
All right.
Which is one of my favorite romances.
Yeah, great show.
Another one that's a bit of a roller coaster. Definitely has its ups and downs. This one's about a young, what are they, in middle school?
I think so.
Yeah, middle school boy who lost his ability to hear the piano. That's all he's really done with his life was play piano, and he was one of the best kids in Japan at it. He was winning all kinds of competitions, and after he sustained some trauma, he kind of lost that. Well, he lost his ability to hear, so he can't really play anymore. And fortunately, he meets somebody who's willing to try to show him the light again and get him back into music.
Mm-hmm. I love the show a lot as well. It'll be good to have a full app. Maybe we'll hear from it again. I don't know.
Maybe not, but yeah, fantastic. Can't wait to talk about it more.
For sure. So my number 9 provides us with a little bit of controversy based on how the two of us have decided to compile our lists. I have gone and decided that anime movies should be included in my countdown in my top 50. It still, to me, is stories told through the medium that is anime. That's really the basics for what I would have included upon a list. I know you feel a little differently, and I can certainly understand that. If you want to explain your side of the thing.
Well, it's not that I feel like, it doesn't count as an anime. Obviously, it is.
Yeah.
I feel like it kind of transcends and is different, but also
Certainly different, yeah.
more so the fact that I did not think to put movies on my list.
Okay.
Is the thing.
Yeah.
So it's not like I have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Just I wish I had thought
Would that
of
have
it so I
affected
could.
your list greatly at all?
I think you would have had a place on my list, so something would have got bumped out.
Gotcha.
What was number 50? I can let you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we started at 50, right?
We did. I think.
Oh, it's all out of order because I
And he jacked his
50 is The Devil's a Part-Timer. Wouldn't
Okay.
have been on the list, man.
Rest in peace. Regardless, I once again I'm going to shout out a buddy with this. That's something beautiful about this whole list in general, and just all these shows that we've watched. Is so much of it is things that we've shared with each other, with friends, just bringing us together. It's really special.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we've talked about that like as us showing each other shows, but I do truly feel that way with some other of my buddies as well. It's really, really cool. So number 9 is a film from Studio Ghibli. It is Princess Mononoke. Shout out Mike. Thank you, Mike. I had not really, and still haven't watched many of the Ghibli films. I just kind of saw it as like maybe like the Disney of anime, which, I mean, some people may still compare it, just like quality animation stuff. Regardless, this film was excellent. It really, really spoke to me. I loved the messaging. I loved the world building. I loved the characters. It was truly special to me, and I will be thrilled to break it down further.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll keep it moving here.
Yes, sir.
This one's actually a current show.
Yeah, dude,
We're
that's
waiting
wild.
for the.
I guess we can say that as we
season.
go along too, if it's something that's over or if it's something that's. I didn't think to say that, but
Okay, well let's do it real quick. Horimiya is over.
Over.
They actually gave us a whole second season.
Yeah, we touched on
of
that.
more. Yeah. Your Lie in April is over.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, Fate Stay Night's over, and so is Mononoke.
Yeah, well, Mononoke is a movie, so it has to be over. So this one's ongoing.
Yeah.
Something that's ongoing right now, it's pretty much ending almost, is Oshinoko.
Yeah, 100%.
And this one I thought about last week when you were saying it's hard to not
separate.
to separate the manga. I guess it might have been 2 weeks ago. To separate the manga from the anime. Well, because it's the same story.
Yeah, I mean, it's in your head.
Yeah,
You're not just going to be able to forget it.
Really thoroughly have enjoyed Oshinoko. And even the anime, for just ranking based on the first 2 seasons and what we've seen, it would still be in the top 20. But it's just that I've completed most of the stories. I feel like the manga itself is starting to wrap up. So
Yeah.
it's almost a completed story, but it's so good. And once again, can't wait to talk about it more.
Yeah. I mean, I truly have enjoyed this second season. I think more so than the first season, and hopefully it's only up from there.
Well, the first episode, it was like movie length. That
Yeah,
to me,
yeah.
that hooked me so hard.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great way to start.
It was a complete roller coaster. Did not
For sure.
expect it to take
No.
the
Twists,
turns
turns.
it did, and then the first time you hear the last line of it. I don't want to give it away. We'll talk about it more in the episode. But then the first time the opening song kicks in at the end of the movie, I'm like, oh.
Oh, is that one? Wow.
Yeah, it was really cool.
That's
And
awesome.
I'm like, man, this is going to be awesome.
All right. We really are. We're getting into some high quality stuff.
Oh,
dude.
man.
Yeah, pretty crazy. So my number 8 favorite anime of all time, comedy. I almost said comments. Comedy romance, rom-com, however you want to put it.
I like that, man. We could make it. We could catch it on.
Yeah, thank you. Number 8 for me is the quintessential quintuplets. Super fun show. Guy tutoring a group of 5 sisters. We see at the beginning of the show he's going to marry one of the sisters. Then let it play out and see who it's going to be.
It's
What
great.
a setup.
Yeah, it really is like for me like the golden standard for wholesome harem, or even just any harem anime.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I feel like anytime we've talked about any harem on our list, we're like, oh, like we always reference the Quince.
Yes. This is the gold standard.
Yeah, it really is incredible. So much so that they've come back and made anime that doesn't even exist in the manga.
Yeah,
long after like the conclusion of the series, they're making
for sure.
more. I think that comes out soon.
I hope so. We've seen a couple trailers.
Yeah,
I mean
so-
the manga and the anime have both finished up. They're adding a honeymoon arc.
Yeah, an anime only honeymoon.
That was not. Yeah,
Well, I think it's going to be like a
maybe
special
based on,
episode.
I
like
think it also
movie
may be
length.
based on like, is the third video game like a honeymoon? Is that?
I don't know. Yeah, well, the third game they haven't localized. It to
Yeah.
America,
So I think that could be it.
that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Well, no, the second game we're playing right now is the honeymoon.
No. It's
Oh
not
no, it's an
honeymoon.
after high school trip.
Yeah.
That's my bad.
You're good. You're bad. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, this is one that you showed me, and yeah, it really stuck. Just such a funny show.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, man. You might hear about it, you might not.
I don't know.
But
man.
moving on here to my number 7 is Toradora. This is
All right.
something you did talk about, I don't know, like months ago.
Yeah, why would you?
I really enjoy the show. I just think it's, once again, like, honestly, I might say it's like the gold standard for rom-com anime.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a great setup, a lovable cast of characters with very different, like, personalities, looks, and motivations. And it's just, I don't know, it's just such a lovely setup.
Yeah.
And I'll always watch, like, this is one I'm always happy to rewatch, and I always have such a good time. I think this one's also, like, probably my, like, go-to starter romance anime.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, if I recommend somebody, like, a romance anime, it's like Horimiya or Toradora. One or the other, one of the two. Or the quintuplets.
Yeah.
One of those three.
It's a starter, but it's like a
it's like a little much.
heavy starter.
Yeah, I could definitely see that being a little much for somebody just beginning their anime journey. But this one's definitely one I always recommend to people who are new to anime.
Yeah, for sure.
And even people who are new to, like, who've, like, watched, like, different, like, Dragon Ball, One Piece, and all these action adventure. If they want to dip their toes in a romance, I think this one's a great one to do that.
All right, very nice. Yeah, definitely something that I think I said this when I talked about it, that I'd like to rewatch. And in us, dedicating a full episode to each of these shows, we'll definitely watch them
I
together.
also
again, so.
just wanted to add, I think the show, I just saw something on Instagram. It's like hit its like 16-year anniversary.
It came out in 2008.
So that one's a little old. Yeah, that's one of the.
2008, yeah.
That's one of, like, I think that's the oldest romance I've watched. I think.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, it's very good though.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else, certainly. All right, my number 7. So my number 7, again, one of the reasons that we switched up today's episode. My number 7 is Jujutsu Kaisen, which I think the anime just hit its, like, 3rd year anniversary.
And the manga just finished.
Well, that's a great
last
point,
week.
too.
So.
Yeah. Well, for our anime-only listeners. That's pretty wild as well. This show is awesome. The first season I really liked. The movie kicked it up a notch. I loved, and then the second season of this anime was absurd. I mean, it was one of the best seasons of anything I've ever seen. Really, really fun. Just excellent story. Just makes you feel. Awesome fights. It's got a lot. And the second season was truly interesting, with a brief flashback arc and then the full incident arc that I feel that we've been waiting for a long time. Like, even in watching the first season, I remember hearing, like, okay, we'll wait till we get to the Shibuya incident. That's when this really turns up.
The show definitely takes a
turn.
turn.
It did not disappoint at all.
It takes a turn.
It did not disappoint. So when we break this one down, we will spend the first half of the episode talking about the anime. But being as this is one of the few manga that Angelo and I have both read to conclusion, especially as it's coming out, there will be a section that is manga only. So we'll put that warning out in the episode specifically. But great show.
All right, moving on. My number 6.
All right.
Yeah, this one goes way back. It's one of the first things we ever watched.
Yes, sir.
My Hero Academia.
All right.
I know we've talked about it a lot with the new season being out, so here's where it ranks on my list, number 6.
Yeah.
Absolutely great show. I know it started off in like my top 3 at a time, but I've just watched so much different stuff now.
For sure. I mean, and even to only fall down to 6.
Yeah, this has been here since the beginning.
From being up there is pretty impressive.
And I don't see it ever really going.
Leaving the top.
Yeah, it'll never leave the top 10. My Hero is very fantastic.
I agree. I sincerely agree. Yeah, this season's been very good as well. I know we've talked about that a bunch. We'll hit on that more at a later date. Number 6 for me, one that Angelo has already touched on today. That's going to be Your Lie in April. Not many shows make me feel as much as this one does, whether it's good feelings, bad feelings.
Bit of both.
Yeah, a whole lot of everything. It's an incredible story. Really, really meaningful. Great characters. The music aspect of it is awesome. Like just the classical piano. It's really, really fun. I'm sure I would enjoy reading the manga for this, but I don't understand like how you could fully experience it the way you can in the anime with the music.
Yeah, it's different.
It's different. Yeah, it's great. It's great. This one's been over obviously for a long time, like you said, but it's awesome. And yeah, like the shows that, just to hit on this while I'm thinking of it, the shows that are on both of our lists, we'll do one combined episode for it. I would assume we'll probably wait till whoever's got it lower on the list.
Yeah, whoever. Yeah, I agree.
So,
that being said, my number 5.
Okay, moving on.
Is... Oh, sorry, you're not ready to move on?
No, I'm ready to move on.
All right, my number 5 is Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
This is something that you showed me.
For sure.
And whew, it's a crazy show.
Boy,
this one I feel like could get like 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Like I could talk about Attack on Titan for a very long time. There's so many just twists and turns and like, wow. Like you just never know what to expect.
No, you do not.
And that's really fantastic storytelling.
Without it, I mean, yeah.
And yeah, this one has concluded too.
Yes, it has.
Well, the manga's been over for a while.
Years.
But the anime just wrapped up, what, was it the end of last year?
Yeah, it must have been. I know they're going to be
now.
putting the last 2 like special episodes back into the like movie theaters, which will be a cool experience.
Yeah, that'll be exciting to see on the big screen.
Yeah, without a doubt.
But yeah, man, I don't really have anything to add right now. There's certainly a lot I have to say.
Yeah, I mean,
we're going to have to save that for the...
yeah, it'll be an awesome episode. That'll certainly be one I'm looking forward to. Moving on to my number 5. This is my highest rated romance anime. One that is very special to me and has been for a long time. One of my COVID shows. I know you've talked about that in the past.
Yes.
Things that during times when we were sick over the pandemic, trapped in your room by yourself, what was there for you. And maybe there's a little bit of nostalgia attached to that, but no, I truly believe the show's actually that good. I'm not sure you would say the same about what you have upcoming or what you've talked about in the past. Regardless, long-winded way of saying that number 5 is Kaguya-sama Love is War. This manga has concluded. The anime ended off with a movie. There's been no announcement of any further stuff. There certainly is a lot more in the manga that hasn't been animated yet, so we'll see. I would have to think it was popular enough to get more. I really, truly thought it was. But we'll just find out, As far as just like the romance aspects, the comedy aspects, this just checks all the boxes for me. Great characters that I truly love. Fun setting, and just a really fun premise of Love is War. Whoever is to give in and confess first is the loser and will forever, not have any power in the relationship. I think it's a pretty funny construct.
Yeah, especially for like high schoolers.
Yeah, I mean, it's very funny. So yeah, this is a great show. Can't wait to talk about it.
All right, so moving on, my number 4.
All right.
Is the quintessential quintuplets.
Wow.
Which you just talked about it, man.
Yeah.
So my feelings since then have not changed.
Wow, that's good.
I absolutely adore the show. It's my highest rated rom-com.
Okay.
So that's gotta definitely counts for something.
Yeah.
It's it's just it's great.
It is awesome.
It's like really, it's amazing. This is a show that just makes me feel so happy. It's just so enjoyable to watch. Like whenever I'm having like, every once in a while I'll have like a bad day. I'll be like, oh, let me watch The Quince, or like last time, like, or when I like building Legos or something, or just want to have something on in the background. Oh, The Quince. Or like there's been times where I'm struggling to sleep and I'm like, oh, I just need something to like just relax me and let me sleep. Yeah, a little something to take the edge off. And that's The Quince.
That is The Quince.
You really like any
That's
mood, or you're happy. Like what would make you happier? The Quince. So it's perfect.
That's great. I love the way you put that.
Yeah.
That's funny. All right. If you're all set there, I'll move on to my number 4. I will extend my thanks to you for this one. My number 4 is My Hero Academia. So something you just touched on as well. Something that we watched a while ago, dude, when we were really, really just starting out. And I remember thinking back to when I had first started collecting Funko Pops, when I first kind of was understanding what anime is, probably after I had already watched some Dragon Ball, and I thought that was going to be it for me. I thought that was the only anime for me. I remember seeing My Hero stuff. I think it was in Walmart. I don't know.
I mean, that's what got me. Just seeing posters at Target, and I'm I've seen posters of this show. Let me watch it.
Yeah, this it seemed to be the big thing at the time, which was really cool. So it was awesome to get in then. We started watching when season 4 had ended, or right as it was ending, something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. At some point after it was over, it was already over.
Okay. Yeah, because season 5 was certainly the first one.
Season 5 was the first one I watched weekly.
Yeah, but no, this was great. I really enjoyed watching it with you. The superheroes have been all the rage in Western media for the last 2 decades, but I think this is a really fun take on that sort of genre. The idea that almost everybody's got a power, useful or unuseful, but not everybody does. As we'll come to find. Superhero school, I think, is an awesome idea as well. Just overall was an awesome story.
Sky High.
Hey, I was thinking that too, actually. Yeah, that's funny. As we get toward the end of season 7 of the anime, I anticipate that next season will probably be the final season, season 8. The manga concluded about a month and a half ago. I have since finished it, so it's really cool to see this story come full circle and finish. Great stuff. Really is. I've said my woes with some of the animation in past seasons, but as a story overall, it never disappointed me. I always loved it till the end, and I think there's plenty more we could say about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And plenty more we will say.
Certainly.
All right, so number 3.
Number 3.
Top 3.
Wow.
And a little disclaimer before I do my top 3. These 3 shows for me are not always concrete. They will never leave the top 3, I don't think. But every once in a while, I'll make some... I'll make some adjustments every once in a while, usually based on what I've seen most recently, or I'll just think to myself, hey, if I could watch one show, what it would be right now.
That's interesting, yeah.
But yeah, so bringing in my number 3 here is Assassination Classroom.
All right.
This was a pretty early anime for me. It was the first dip I took into a comedy anime, which I mean, it's an action comedy. It's not that heavy on the comedy. I just remember scrolling out on Funimation.
Rest in peace.
And just clicking under comedy, I'm like, maybe we'll find something funny. And I just saw this yellow octopus dude, and I'm like, this has got to be a fun concept. A bunch of students have to kill their teacher, or the whole world's gonna explode.
Yeah.
What could go wrong?
Nothing at all.
And I just, by the end of it being one of my favorite shows and making me feel so much, it's just not what I expected going into it, but what I took away from it is wonderful. The show just means so incredibly much to me, and I cannot wait to get to talk about it more.
That's awesome. I do look forward to getting to watch a little bit of it before we have that episode. just because, I feel like I rated this very low relatively to where you have it.
Yeah, big difference.
Which, can be said for some of my favorites, too. Let's not lie. But, I look forward to seeing some of it again. Hopefully the end. All right. Top 3. Pretty crazy stuff. We can cut it here, maybe, and just save this for the end. Cliffhanger. Kidding.
Well, I already gave you my
I should have said
30.
that before.
We'll just cut it, and we'll have... we won't tell you our number ones.
Sounds good. No, I'm kidding. Number 3. Once again, something a friend recommended. It's funny how all that works. Number 3 for me is Hunter x Hunter. This is a very unique story. Definitely adventure heavy, I think, which is really fun. So many incredible characters. Awesome power system. One of my favorite in Shonen, if not my favorite. Very unique. The story jumps around a little bit, which I think is fun. Our author kind of just told whatever story he wanted to tell, whether it's dark and brooding or trapped in a video game. You'll see. It really is incredible. Gave me one of my favorite characters of all time, Kurapika. Some incredible villains, just awesome world, which we really haven't even scratched the surface of based on some things I know about the manga that may never get animated. This is still ongoing, though the mangaka has had some issues with health, which has delayed it greatly over years and years. But I will say that if it never comes back and it ends where the anime ended, I'm 100% satisfied. This really is an awesome show, and I think it used to be a little bit lower rated, but then as I watched more with you, and I've just watched some for multiple times over on my own, it's just something that had to rise back up to where it is now at number 3, which it's something that means a lot to me. Obviously, I remember sitting and just grinding the show, the Chimera Ant arc, which we may get to hopefully together. Mm-hmm. Very long, incredible, but very long. And I just remember grinding this day in, day out before I started my job right after I'd graduated school. And that'll actually be true of my number 2 show. I watched them around the same time. Number 3, Hunter x Hunter.
All right, so moving on. My number 2 is One Piece.
The One Piece is real.
Like, there's this show. I know I said I have a lot to say about Attack on Titan, but if I had to if my life depended on talking about one show for as long as possible, it would be One Piece. Yeah. There's just, obviously there's so much there with me. I'm not quite caught up with the anime, and I don't know how far the manga is. Pretty far ahead, but I've watched almost 1,100 episodes, so I'd say I definitely have watched enough to be able to talk about it.
What a grind, dude.
I don't know. I never really saw it as that. It's just I don't really see it as a grind. I saw it as a journey, because this is something I watched semi early on, and that I still watch now.
Yeah.
Because I remember
just constantly there.
Yeah, I watched this after Assassination Classroom and some of the other ones, but this one was a pretty early show. It was definitely, I like pirates, I like adventure, and I watched the first episode, and then I'm and then I didn't pick it back up for months, or at least a month. That is very true for
some of your favorites, huh?
Everything in the top 5.
Nice, very nice.
Maybe not Assassination Classroom. I think I just watched multiple episodes of that because I was just alone chilling.
Yeah.
But everything else in the top 5, Attack on Titan. I watched a couple episodes with you, and I'm I didn't really like it. And
I really had to sell it.
Yeah. The Quince. No, the Quince. It was a COVID show.
Okay.
So that's not true for the Quince. For My Hero, it was.
Yep.
And even Oshinoko, I took a little break after watching that first episode. It
hooked
hooked me, but I knew I was going to come back. And I'm I need to, yeah. But it was a while between me watching the first and second episode of One Piece.
Yes.
But then second to 100 was the same amount of time.
That's wild.
And this show, I've taken breaks on it, like usually after
I think that's a
finish an
healthy
arc.
relationship with it, yeah.
Yeah, like I've talked to some people who've like watched the show in like months, and like a coworker, a couple like maybe like a year ago, started like watching it because we would talk about it a lot, and like 6 months later, less than that, he was anime. And I'm like, wow.
I think maybe that is more so kind of the outlook. Like you had said, you view it as a journey. I think that is because of the way you've paced yourself, which I think is great. For those who are, just watching it nonstop for months to get caught up, that is more so
a grind.
A grind, yes.
Yeah, I like to watch it at my own pace. I mean, I get stuff spoiled because of that, but
for sure, yeah.
Unless I'm caught up with the manga, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, exactly.
I try to stay away from it, but even so, the stuff I get spoiled, like even like sad stuff, it still hits me like a freight train.
Yeah, when it happens.
And the happy stuff, it's still like I still was like, whoa, this is incredible. Because, like, I mean, I don't, like, try to go watch the full scene. Like, if I see something, I'll click off of it and be like, I'm trying to forget that. And then I'll be like, oh, yeah. But, yeah, One Piece is great. It's a lot of the stuff you said about Hunter x Hunter is how I feel about One Piece. Mm-hmm. I like adventure. Yeah. I like action-adventure more than I like just action.
Yeah.
And that's, like, I really think there's no show with like as much adventure as One Piece.
Probably not, yeah.
I mean, with the amount of time, and same with the world building, it's had so much time to build up a wonderful, to really perfect the world building. But this is definitely something I'm excited for you to watch more of. Yeah. I mean, I think we watched like a dozen episodes.
Yeah, we watched a decent amount to start it off.
Yeah, and then once we got rid of the cycle, we stopped watching it. But I definitely will be bargaining to watch more of this with you.
Sounds good. No, I certainly look forward to seeing more. From the outside looking in, it truly is.
And don't let a lot of people will be like, "Oh, the show gets good at like episode 100, or it doesn't get good till like halfway
I
through."
enjoyed the episodes that we watched.
If you don't like One Piece within like the first arc, then you probably just don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
There's definitely, it does grow bigger and bigger, like with all these events, and like as the world gets built up, you meet more characters, you see older characters return, and stuff gets so crazy. But really, the core of it, you're gonna enjoy from the beginning.
Yeah, it truly seems to be a masterpiece by Oda. So I will give it all the respect in the world, and eventually I'll give it my time as well.
Yeah, can't wait, dude.
Sounds good. Okay, on to number 2. I can't believe we're at the top of the list, dude.
This is crazy.
My second favorite anime of all time is Neon Genesis Evangelion. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I understand everything that Anno was going for. I just know how I understand it for myself, how I interpret things, how I feel about it. I think that's kind of something that's special about it, is that maybe it doesn't have to have specific meaning. It just is what it means to you. This was an incredible ride. Watched it at a really powerful time after I'd finished school, before I started my career. A very vulnerable time. So it's certainly meaningful to me in that way, but also just in the show itself is so special. I think I might have even just watched the show. Like, we've talked about this before. You hear it opening to a show, and it's like, oh, maybe I'll check that out. You hear this opening, A Cruel Angel's Thesis, one of the most iconic Japanese songs of all time. Had a distinct 90s feel to it. I'm like, this is pretty sick. And I like the 90s aesthetic to some animes. Maybe I'll check this out. And then I did, and boy, there's no going back once you get rolling. I love it. I really do. I like the characters. It's tough to see the pain and the struggles that they all go through. But it's incredibly interesting to learn about them and to see it progress throughout the show. As far as ending goes, I personally, I'll talk more about this in the actual episode, give real reasons, but I personally prefer the way that the show ends rather than the film, though, both I love.
I don't even remember how the movie ends. And we just saw it not that long ago.
I mean...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, never mind. I do remember that.
Yeah. It's really awesome. And
what it means, I don't understand.
I mean, like I said, it's, I don't think that's necessarily, at least to me, that's not what matters. And that might be even why I like the show ending better, is that I don't need to be shown or told exactly what's going on. If I feel a certain way about it or it resonates with me, that's good enough for me. The plot in this show was never really what was standing out. It was the characters. It was just the aesthetics itself. Just incredible stuff. So yeah, that's number 2.
All right.
Ready to close this thing out, dude?
Yeah, so number 1. Find out next week.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. We're going to tell you right now. My number 1, which, like I said, it fluctuates from time to time.
Yeah, this surprised
It could
me.
be any
I
of
thought your
these
number
3
2 was
shows.
going to be your number 1 today, but now this is
Well,
good.
we know my number 2 is 1.
Well, obviously now.
I mean, I'm on a little break from One Piece as I wait for the dub to catch up.
That sounds good.
I mean, I like the sub. One Piece has a wonderful sub.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
most people said like all the subs better, but I really do like the dub of One Piece, and it's been what I've been watching for how long now? For years. So I don't really want to switch. I'm a creature of habit.
Mm-hmm.
But moving on, number 1 is Fruits Basket.
Okay.
Now this was the first romance show I've watched, the first drama I watched, and I mean, I peeked at the first one. Apparently,
Yeah.
I really did a good job picking a romance to dip my toes in.
What a
This is
choice.
my favorite, by far, favorite romance. It's a good show. And actually, I think it's got a decent bit of comedy elements up until close to the ending when stuff gets serious.
Yeah, I think it does too.
And it's just so enjoyable. I could watch this show every day and never not enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. It's just the perfect romance. It made me believe at a time that I didn't believe. It made me believe love is real, and I'm like, man, maybe I can find that someday.
Wow.
It really. It's just a show that means so much to me. It made me feel so many different emotions. And yeah, at the time, at first, I was like a little skeptical. I'm a macho dude. I don't know if I could be caught me watching romance. I mean, I like all the time. I'm like, oh, I don't like rom-coms, and now they're my favorite. Even normal like American rom-com movies are great. It's fun.
It is the greatest.
It's just like stuff that's easy to watch is nice. This isn't as easy to watch as a rom-com, but it's just better.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in my opinion, of course.
Thank you for adding that.
So it definitely took. That's why I think there was a little break between watching like the first I think I watched like the first half of the episode and then I turned it off.
Wow.
And then I'm like, I like this, but I'm like, I don't know if this is what I want to be watching right now.
Yeah.
And then I watched the first episode and then, watch a couple episodes, you get hooked. And it's just it's a great show. My favorite characters in this show. There's so many lovable characters in this show. I mean, I really think they do such a good job giving them all a really great growth and development, giving them all like fantastic backstories, and really making you understand every single one of them, even the characters who are villains.
Yeah, we've touched on that before. Yeah, how important.
Yeah,
it
it's
is to understand.
it's wonderful, and the ending is one of my favorite anime endings ever. I think they do such a good job with every single character, giving them the ending that they deserve.
That is good.
But yeah, I mean, I can't wait. Once again, can't wait to talk about it. Can't wait to watch more with you.
Yeah,
when
for
we
sure.
In preparation.
I mean, we've done a few. Restart watch throughs.
If you think about it, we drop an episode every week. This is my number 1. We're talking like months and months from now, but
yeah, I mean, like 15 weeks.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
At least.
All right, so close us out, brother.
Yeah, that sounds good. It is my honor to finish out our top 10 lists today. I've really enjoyed the direction that we've taken with this and doing the countdown and getting to highlight these stories that mean so much to us. So with that, my favorite anime of all time is the horrifying yet beautiful Attack on Titan. This is such a special story. It's it's never what you think it's going to be from the start to the end, and it resonated with me very hard. Love the characters, love the world. It was really, really interesting from the start. The first episode hooks you in so well.
Unless you're me.
It's fair enough for most people.
I just think I didn't really give it the chance it deserved.
Yeah. I truly adore it.
I think it's because I don't like, not to spoil anything.
I mean, if it's
I
the
don't.
first
I
episode.
don't like gruesome stuff.
Gotcha.
So I think I might have been turned off, and I'm like, ew.
Yeah. For me, like, I don't like gore in live action media, but in anime, like, I could watch.
I don't
about
like it
anything.
ever.
Yeah. It's just so far separated from the real thing to me that it just, I don't know.
I don't like watching people get eaten
All
in
right,
any
chill
fashion,
out,
dude.
chill out.
Sorry, is that too much of a spoiler?
It's such a spoiler. No, I'm kidding.
It's the first, 10 minutes. We didn't say who.
It's a large
It
portion.
could be anybody.
A lot of people get eaten. It's Attack on
Yeah,
Titan.
it's more than one. Sorry to spoil that.
Yeah. The story just, what a roller coaster. Some of the twists in the show are my favorite ever in anything. Some things you just don't expect, and to this day, it just blows your mind.
Yeah, none of it you expect.
Yeah, I loved it. I picked up the manga after the first part of season 4. However long ago that came out, a while at this point. So many parts of that final season.
Yeah, the final season part 5, special 2.
Yeah. And I read that through. That was awesome. That was a great experience to finish it out, and then to finally see it all be animated, a few years later, was incredible. It means so much to me. It really does. I don't know that anything will ever dethrone this. I can't see anything being this good to me.
Yeah, it's strange how different ours are. Like, my top 3 are on the pedestal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they could dethrone each other, but you're
it's
solid
so far and away number 1. There's just nothing like it. Like, I love anime as a medium, I love manga as a medium, but nothing compares to this for me. It just doesn't. It's so big. It's so much, so good. I can't wait to talk about it in 20 weeks.
Yeah, in quite a while, but it's gonna be a good 5-part episode, just like the final season. It might be a couple parts.
That actually could be a pretty funny gag.
Yeah, I would like that.
Yeah, but yeah, that's our top 10, everybody. I've loved this countdown. I think it was a great time.
Yeah, absolutely.
The best part about it is that it's going to all change as we watch more and more shows.
Well, that's why I put the disclaimer with my top 3, because if we ever revisit it, just to see how things change, depending on what I've watched most recently. Which at the time right now, most recently I've been watching One Piece.
Yeah.
I rewatched Fruits Basket months ago.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
Assassination Classroom, it's been a while. So I think that's definitely what I'll watch next of the 3.
Yeah.
But, like I said, those 3 can change, but...
People change.
Yeah, people can change.
I'm afraid your baby thinks people can't change.
Yeah, get ready for that list. Our
That's what I'm
ranking
saying,
of I think you should leave sketches.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So thank you, as always, to everybody for listening. I appreciate it, and I know Angela does too.
Yes, very much.
This has been awesome for us to be able to do. And we'll see you next week.
Peace.
Peace.